Hello and welcome to Hit or Miss Monday. I'm Mike and this is Bubba's Workbench. So today we're going to review this barbecue thermometer that I got from the Chinese online retailer Banggood.com. And what makes this thermometer so unique, as you see, there's two pieces here. One is your base and one is your receiver that you can just keep in your pocket, which is an awesome feature to have on a thermometer, so you don't have to always be sitting in front of your cooker as it's doing its thing. So what is in the box? Well, as you can see here, you get a base, you get a receiver, you get two probes. One is for meat, one is for the grate itself. It's got this little clip so you can keep it up in the air so it's not actually touching the grate. Gives you a good ambient temperature reading. And then you've got your USB charger cable, and there's also instructions inside. Okay, so let's get right into the review. First and foremost, the whole reason I got this was because of the aspect of having two probes and the added benefit of having the remote, which is really nice to have because then I can keep it in my pocket, go in the house, do other preparations, or watch some TV, watch some YouTube, and be able to monitor the temperature outside, know what's going on. So then now we can get right into the negative aspects of this that led me down that path of despair of this not being the best decision after all. And when I bought this, I purposely chose it because of the two probes. It just says in the description, two thermometer probes, or two probe, I think as the description says. Well, I guess I should have read it a little more closely or carefully. It's not two food probes. You get, as I stated, a food probe and the grate probe, which is awesome. These are nice to have, actually. You'll see people oftentimes take a standard food one and they'll poke it through like a potato or something and set it on top of their grill to do the same thing that this is going to do for you. However, that's not why I wanted it. I wanted to be able to monitor two cuts of meat at the same time. Now, the nice part about all this is even though the thermometer says they call it barbecue and then they call it food as far as where you plug each one in, it's not proprietary. It's not exclusive. If you have an extra food probe, you can put it in the barbecue one, and it works just fine. Everything's great. So it's just not what I bought it for. Was the whole issue I have with that. So it's not really a detriment to using this. It's not a deal breaker. So then the next thing that really started me off on this path of despair is the cords for these probes are way too short. I don't know who made this, but it's no good. They need to be a lot longer, since it then forces you to place these in specific places that you may not want to put them in order for the cords to reach, and that's just not good. You need longer cords to have the flexibility, especially if you have multiple cuts of meat and you can't put the sensor where close to the meat for whatever reason. So anyhow, that's to me a major negative. Still not a deal breaker, but that's a very negative thing. And then we go to the thermometers themselves. One thing I was a little disappointed in is while you can set your temperatures to whatever you want, it's got a really kind of hokey system as far as you just kind of keep hitting the button up, until you go around it. But if you miss your number, you got to go all the way cycle through till you hit it again. So that's not good design. And it also has a timer feature, which I don't really understand what the point of. You don't necessarily usually need timers when you're cooking if it's something that's temperature related. So that's kind of an odd feature to have that I don't see a need for. What would have been nicer to have presets and memory. Since one of my complaints is that this is a pretty expensive thermometer, considering buying it from Banggood.com where everything is just ridiculously cheap. This is something that you're like, wow, that doesn't seem to fit their kind of angle there of being so inexpensive. But I was looking at this as potentially being really high quality unit, and it worked, and it did it pretty good. It did it well. I mean, I can't say it didn't do what it's supposed to do. So the issue I was having was setting temperature is one issue, and then what made it even worse is, okay, you set your temperature, and I got that fine, but it has a weird system where if it hits your target, it doesn't just immediately set off the alarm. it's like it wants to compensate for fluctuation in temperature. I guess maybe if some strong wind came, or if maybe there was a flare up and your cooker escalates in temperature, it doesn't want to assume that you're at the temperature you wanted. It's trying to use artificial intelligence, maybe. That's, I don't know. So anyhow, I was testing it in the house even to mess around with it in the oven, and I don't think that's a good thing because the alarm doesn't go off when it's supposed to go off, and that's the whole point of why you're setting it. So then you have to figure out, well, then I need to underset it so that when it hits your temperature, then it actually goes off. That's not good design. And then when that alarm goes off, it won't go off. I don't know how to stop it from making that beeping noise. Instructions don't tell you. So you end up being forced to turn this off, which is not good because if you still have other items on there or you still want to continue monitoring your cooker, you can't without turning that thing off. And then if you turn it back on, you'd have to change the temperature. And then one thing I did notice that was kind of a weird thing is when I was all done and cleaning everything up, these probes were all coated with smoke, which is pretty common. That happens usually over time. But after one cookout, that they were completely coated. I'm not sure if you can really see this kind of dark bronzy color here. Well, this one, it took a bit to scrub half of it off. And, well, actually, I think I just answered my own questions because this part was in the meat. So whatever was exposed, I wasn't able to clean that off. And then on the grate probe, it's still coated, and I couldn't get that smoke off. So I'm not sure what kind of stainless they're using. But that's a little questionable there. So then the next thing that I did is basically I was fact-checking this thermometer, making sure its temperatures were accurate. So I brought out mine, my good old faithful trusty one, and put it in there. Well, good thing I did. Turns out this thing was running about 5 degrees lower. There is that possibility that because of the smoke layer getting on here, or at least on this one especially, it was hindering its ability to read temperatures accurately. So there's an argument for why you want to have a better, higher grade stainless. So the bottom line that I would say with this is don't make this your first choice. They do have another one at banggood.com, and I'm going to buy that one. It's literally half the price of this and does pretty much the same things and does come with 2 meat probes. That I did verify. And then maybe we could do a comparison side by side and see which one actually is better. So again, I would say this would be your second choice. If you're looking for one and you can't seem to find one, then go over there and buy this one. Other than that, it does what it says it does, and it does it okay. I'll use it again, I would say, but I'm anxious to get one that works better. So I hope you liked this video. If you did, smash that like button. Subscribe if you're not already subscribed. And until next time, you take care.